Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 9. So we are slowly, did I say slowly, approaching the start of the final season of The Flash, that of course being its ninth season. Now we have the show back filming, we know that. I think they're about, like halfway through episode 2 at this point, or maybe they're done with episode 2 in general. Not 100% sure, but we know they are done with episode 1 at the very least, and have started episode 2, maybe finished it. But yeah, they are well into filming now, and whether they release certain things on social media or through press releases at a decent rate is up in the air in regards to just general news. Because as we brought up before, I personally don't expect that much new stuff. Seeing it is the final season, though we will get some new stuff. Of course, we're getting a new character of Captain Boomerang Jr. or Owen Mercer in this final season. But he could be like one of the few, or maybe the only new thing that's in this season. But I think whether they reveal new things might depend on whether they actually film those new things in public. Because if news does come out, it could be like for certain returning characters and all of that. But they might keep like some of the new stuff behind closed doors. I'm not too sure. But they will still want to, keep some surprises for when the actual episodes air, or to reveal like the week of an episode airing or something like that. But yeah, it is a wait and see with what they choose to reveal early and what they choose to keep behind closed doors. It's their show, they can do what they want. But of course, we all have questions heading into this final season, and some of you left some of those questions in the comments of previous videos, so we're going to go over some of those today, with one question actually connecting to some potential news that came out the other day that links back to a tease from the Flash's showrunner from several months ago that I was going to do my own video on, but I thought, I'll just combine it into this Q&A video because a question sort of led into what was, like the general topic of that news that potentially is coming out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below in regards to the questions that are asked here. And if you want to give your own answers, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down there as just well your general opinions. Always curious to read them. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support and everything like that, want to drop a like on the video to all that. So the first question, which is linking to this news that's potentially coming out, comes from, I think it's Demortius G. Hopefully I've copied and pasted that correctly, and there wasn't any sort of weird spell correct, but Demortius G. Do you actually expect any other characters from other Arrowverse shows to show up in the final season of Flash or The Flash? Just at the general question, I would say yes. And my main reasoning for that is that it's the final season, not just The Flash, but the final season of the Arrowverse as we know it. The Flash is the final show in the Arrowverse. So with the Flash having its final season, you would assume that means it's the final season of the Arrowverse as well. So you would expect at least one character from another show to appear in this season. But, going over to this news that potentially came out, and that is that Nicole Maines, who played Nia Nal, aka Dreamer on Supergirl, is or was in Vancouver, where The Flash, of course, films as of recent. Now, of course, a Supergirl cast member appearing this season was teased by Eric Wallace like a while ago. It was before season 8 ended. I'm not too sure exactly when the interview was, but it was in reference to like Armageddon. It's like, oh, are you planning anything like Armageddon? And Eric Wallace talked about bringing a Supergirl cast member onto the show in season 9. Now, Dreamer was the top pick by most people because she, of course, has powers and would fit in. Just to preface, Eric Wallace said it wasn't Supergirl as a character, but it was a character from Supergirl that hadn't appeared on The Flash. That was what was referenced. So automatically people jumped to Dreamer. She was the top pick because of all the power she has and that she'd fit in pretty well. Though it was alluded to by Eric Wallace that they had to find this character the right matchup in the episode, as in like a character for this Supergirl character to bounce off of from Team Flash. But wouldn't that just be Barry? I mean, wouldn't that just be Barry? I don't know, maybe that's me being silly and maybe Barry's a terrible choice. But to me, it just feels like it would be Barry, especially with the whole power thing as well. Anyway, I guess we'll get some confirmation if she's actually in the final season somewhat soon, but she was in Vancouver. The Flash has started filming. It's been teased by Eric Wallace, and she was one of the top choices. And also, she's, like Nicole Maines, that I'm referring here, she's kept on doing stuff related to Dreamer. Like she wrote a comic with, I think, was it Tom Taylor or something like that, which introduced like the Nia Nal version of Dreamer that she played on Supergirl into like the DC U in regards to the comics universe. And like Dreamer was on Fortnite, so it seems like there's a lot of Dreamer stuff and trying to become a big character within like the DC world on like multiple mediums, whether it's comics, whether it's games, whether it's TV, maybe even movies soon. So I would assume that they'll probably keep doing that, and that's why it makes sense that a lot of people now, especially after the fact that she was in Vancouver, believe that Dreamer is the one that's going to be on the Flash, and I think she'd be a good fit. She's probably the best fit to appear outside of the top two choices that probably most people would want, which is Supergirl and Martian Manhunter. I think Dreamer is an easy third behind those two, and those two just seem like would have been a bit of a big stretch, and they both have already been on the Flash episode before. They were in the musical episode back in season 3, I think it was. So yeah, Dreamer is the top choice, I think, if you go through the process of elimination. But yeah, if you disagree, you can let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on Dreamer appearing. But the next question is, what is the one thing you want most in the Flash season 9? Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fray. That's from Flash Fantic 007. I don't know if that's meant to say Flash Fanatic, but yeah, Flash Fantic 007. Probably just like a well-rounded ending. That's probably the one thing I want the most. Just a well-rounded ending for Barry's story. Don't kill him off. Let him set up his legacy where he continues to be the Flash after the show's timeline ends for us viewers. I don't think everyone is going to get the ending that they want, because a lot of people want Barry to become the lightning bolt that gives him speed, while there are those like me who don't want that. So at the very least, as long as things story-wise and like you aren't leaving the show still asking big questions that were never answered, like that stuff's not like a bit unclear, I think that's just that's what you want. Just to leave the show, feel like you've had everything that needs to be answered or finished off and wrapped up. I think if they achieve that, then it's a success. You don't expect them to wrap up every single storyline the show has ever sort of alluded to, just because you're just never going to do that, especially saying it's only a 13 episode final season. I think if they just wrap up Barry, Iris, and probably Caitlin well enough, then I think they've done a good job. This is more of like just a question referring to, I guess, the past, but this is I actually have not left the person's name who left the comment here. My bad. So sorry if you were the one that asked this question, but I haven't put your name down. My bad. But they asked, what is your favorite season of The Flash apart from 1 and 2, or seasons 1 and 2? I guess it'd have to be the season that just went by, season 8. I think Armageddon was awesome. I enjoyed the end of the season for the most part. There was some errors there, like it was a bit of a clunky finale. Like the finale was probably just a bit rough, but it was still fun to watch. But like I enjoyed the Deathstorm stuff, though it was a bit stretched out in some portions, but for the most part I enjoyed it. The end stuff as well, like the negative forces, I think got like the Force stuff got somewhat redeemed, even though it doesn't excuse the bad stuff that was with them in season 7. I'd probably say season 8. I'd probably say season 8 is probably my third favorite season, or my favorite season after seasons 1 and 2. It was just fun to watch, well-rounded, and I enjoyed watching it from beginning to end as well. And I actually ended up rewatching it as well. So, yeah, I rewatched it pretty quickly as well. So if it was bad, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through it that quick. The next question comes from Ashley H. I've left out your surname just because I think it's your actual name, so I don't want to put it on here, but I just Ashley H. You'll know it's you. Do you know of any other rumors about the final season? And the answer to this is no. Now, I sort of lost my good contact for anything going on in the show about 2 seasons ago. It was like during COVID, like they didn't pass away or anything like that. I just sort of lost that connection. So, and they sort of like lost that connection as well. Like they weren't really involved with the show as a whole. I think that might have been specifically due to COVID. So the only rumor I heard that has somewhat played out for this final season recently, and I actually did make a video on this back when I heard it, was that a couple of seasons ago they were trying to include Owen Mercer's Captain Boomerang Jr., but it didn't work out for whatever reason it was. I can't remember specifically what the reason was, but they were planning to use him and it just didn't happen. But now we are seeing him in this season. Of course, that's a stretch and a half to say like, oh, well, I knew about it back then, because let's be honest, things change and stuff like that. But I do know that Eric Wallace likes the character and tried to include him in the past. That's what I was told back then. But I guess now is the time where it all works out compared to a couple of seasons ago. So I'm intrigued to see what he's like, and I guess just what his general past is within the Arrowverse. Why is Captain Boomerang now? Was Digger Harkness his dad? All that stuff. I'm curious to see the connections made there. Long time coming, I guess. And the final question comes from Hardy Goes Hard. What a name. Anyway, do you think DC on TV, or I guess just generally DC TV, is going to suffer after The Flash ends? And I think the answer to that is, like, I don't think The Flash ending is the cause or the catalyst for that. You could say the Arrowverse, because obviously it's the final show and the final season of the Arrowverse as we know it, at the very least now. And you can argue maybe DC on the CW as well. Like if means if Gotham Knights doesn't perform, then and Stargirl doesn't get renewed, but Superman and Lois does get renewed, then arguably Superman and Lois is the only DC show on the CW, and so maybe DC on the CW, and just the eyeballs on it sort of suffer, and then Superman and Lois could feel some repercussions because of that potentially. But I think DC on TV as a whole suffering after the Flash ends is a big stretch to say because it's spread over different things. You know, you got the HBO Max stuff as well, and even Netflix has DC TV stuff as well. So, and then obviously there's like the animated shows also. So it's a bit of a stretch to say that the Flash ending is going to lead to DC TV suffering. I think it really depends on what they're doing at Warner Brothers and DC. Like we still don't know if Titans and Doom Patrol are continuing. The Green Lantern show has yet to start filming. Like there's that Dead Boy Detectives or whatever it is, which I don't know if there's a great amount of interest around that because it is a spin-off from Doom Patrol, which in itself isn't a ridiculously popular show. Good show, but not, you know, ridiculously viewed in regards to numbers. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where DC TV goes because the biggest show that they've done of recent that's successful is Peacemaker, and they haven't even started filming season 2 for that. And I think like from the beginning of that show, or from that show wrapping up filming, there was like a 9 or 8 month gap. So it seems there's like a lot of post production on that show. So even though after they finished filming, it would take a while for that show to come out as well. So who knows what's going to happen with DC TV going forward. I'm just going to enjoy the shows that I enjoy watching. That's all you can do, I guess. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome. You could drop a like on it, show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything like that. I'm curious to read them. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll actually have a new flashback review out either tomorrow or the day after, depending on how schedules line up and stuff like that in other videos. Hopefully get it out by then. It's ready. It's pretty much ready to go. I just got to do one final thing. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. But until next video, guys, I'll catch you later. Goodbye.